Once the eggs come in from the farms, the ladies are busy grading the eggs. They're taking out all the misshapes, the dirties, the visible cracks. It's quite a labor-intensive practice for us because we literally grade every single egg. The eggs that we're busy grading at the moment are for export, so we're actually sending out fertilized eggs. That's why they're getting packed into boxes instead of into our setter trolleys. They're fertilized, but they need 21 days in an incubator at a certain temperature, 38 degrees Celsius. The biggest challenge is obviously to keep the eggs at a constant temperature so they don't start the incubation process, and we keep our egg room at about 19 degrees Celsius. These boxes were packed yesterday and they're off to a hatchery in Mozambique that hatches adult chicks, but we supply them their eggs twice a week. When we grade into our setter trolleys, once the setter trolleys are filled up, we put them into lines for each farmer and each flock. Some farmers have different amount of flocks, but obviously all the flocks vary in age, giving us different size eggs. When grading eggs, we actually grade the pointed side of the egg down and the rounded side up. It's just because the air pocket for the egg, for the hatching chick, is at the top, so when it does hatch, it can get that first bit of air before it actually pips out of the shell. If it gets set the other way around, the chances of it hatching are very slim. We've got 24 setters. Setters pretty much incubate the eggs for the first 18 days. We monitor the humidity and the temperature pretty closely. It's 101 degrees Fahrenheit or 38.5 degrees Celsius. And humidity, we keep between 48 and 50% relative humidity. That's optimal hatching temperature for a chick. As the days progress, we do drop the temperature ever so slightly by 0.1 degree every day. And that's because the embryos and the eggs start producing their own heat. So if we keep the original temperature, then the machines will end up overheating over that 18-day period. Each setter holds 24 trolleys, and each trolley holds 5,060 eggs. So that's equivalent of around about 121,000, call it. The eggs are turned every hour using turning cylinders. And this is to simulate the mother hen turning the eggs in the clutch. So this is our transfer room, where after 18 days in the setters, incubation in the setters, we have to transfer the eggs out of the setter trays and into hatcher baskets where the chicks would hatch into the baskets. If we didn't transfer them, the chicks would be hatching into the setter trays, which they would be falling through the large gaps. On our older flocks, you do get bangers, which are eggs that explode due to a bacterial infection, but that's because the older flocks have bigger eggs, and the bigger eggs have bigger pores, so they're easier to get contaminated by bacteria. Hence, that's why we're spraying the eggs for the older flocks and the more susceptible flocks with a viral solution, which is a solution that helps prevent cross-contamination between the eggs. The solution we spray the eggs with is a non-toxic solution to the embryos or to the chicks, the developing chicks inside the eggs. It doesn't cause any harm to them. It just prevents cross-contamination of bacteria, which could result in infected yolk sacs in the chicks when they do come out. After the setters have been transferred, the chicks or the eggs get transferred into the hatches now. These are where the actual chicks hatch out of the eggs. As you can see, this is the hatch today. We've got quite a full hatch over there. This is today's hatch for the orders that were placed 3 weeks ago. We try and work on a hatchability of about 85% for our eggs. There is going to be infertile eggs and eggs that just don't hatch for whatever reason. And that's why we always have to set that extra 15% to get the orders that we get. So when the trolleys come out of the hatches, we put them onto the line for the ladies to grade the chicks. The ladies are looking for first quality chicks, first grade chicks. So any defect in the chick is put into a seconds pile, and only first grade chicks are passed on to our customers. Chicks are graded into crates of 100, and then they're all vaccinated at the bottom over there, and then put into trolleys of 2,500 per trolley. This is what we classify as a first grade chick. It's got a navel that's healed pretty well. There's nothing wrong with the navel. There's no red hocks, which means that it's been overheated in the shell or in the hatcher. There's no dehydration. The skin on the feet looks fine, and there's no red above the beak, meaning that it struggled to get out the egg as well. So this chick's definitely a first grade chick. Depending on which customer we have for the day, depends on which vaccinations we use. Each farm pretty much has its own vaccination schedule prescribed to them by their vets or one of their own vets. Now we're doing a spray vaccine, and that spray vaccines can vaccinate against Newcastle's infectious bronchitis diseases. And there are different strains, just depending on what the farm has experienced in the past, what we vaccinate against, what they want us to vaccinate against. These chicks are getting vaccinated with a subcutaneous vaccination. Just certain vaccines have to be administered via subcutaneously, mainly for the Gambora virus. but also you get your Newcastle disease and your infectious bronchitis disease that can get vaccinated through subcutaneously. The blue dye in the vaccine is just for a check, just to make sure that the chicks have been vaccinated. And then it lasts for a couple of hours, so it's sort of for an in-house check really, not for a farmer check. These are Ross chicks, which are going to KZN farming, or Sunrise down the south coast. They specifically want Ross for their farm. We also hatch Cobb and, coming to an end, our Arbor Acre flocks. This is one of our naturally ventilated trucks. There's a dampener in the front which allows fresh air to come through, and then there's fans on top which draw the hot air that the chicks produce out of the body. It is an insulated body to help maintain temperature as well.